Well, welcome to episode 7 of Bandwagon. I'm your host, Eric Nelson. I want to thank Carrie Ann Buchanan for coming in on our last episode. It was good to get to know her a little better, and it was great to play her original song, Bones, with her. Had a really good time. I also want to thank Owen Justice and Lizzie Roberts for producing the show, and our executive producer, Skinny Webb. Those guys make it look and sound great, so I can't appreciate them enough. Coming off a long holiday weekend. Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Owen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Cool. Sorry, I kind of threw that out there at you.
He wasn't expecting that.
I know. Well, we never hardly talk. I just kind of blah, 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 blah. And, but no, me too. I stuck with the traditional Thanksgiving blueprint. Good food, good family, and had a great time, a lot to be thankful for. But one thing that I'm really thankful for right now, carrying over, is having this handsome young devil to my left here.
Clutch my pearls. How dare you? You're married.
Yeah, but I lost my ring, so you don't see
Me
the
too.
ring.
Me too. I lost mine 20 years ago.
No, but I've gotten to know this guy pretty well over the past few years and been fortunate to share the stage with you and your band Sack of Lions and get to know you a little better as a friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
And with no further ado, the ever talented and important Dan Olsen.
Well, thank you for having me, guys.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on here. This will be a good time. I'll just go ahead and step back. How we first met was about 2013.
Yeah.
We were at Ryan Osbar's wedding.
Yeah.
You were the best man, and I officiated the wedding.
That's right.
You had just released, maybe not just released, but I knew you released full.
Yeah, it was the night before we had the album release party.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Wow.
Yeah, I think so.
Busy weekend.
I know, because I know I had a show out at Twisted Tail, or it could have been the Tracy Lawrence show, or John Michael McComb. It was some show we had out there, because we got pretty tuned up. And then we're like, oh, shit, we got Ryan's wedding. Because Ryan was there, too, at the show. But yeah, the next day, oh, man, that was a fun wedding.
Oh, yeah, it was a great time. It was a great time.
Oh, yeah.
And since then, you've released a couple more albums and some singles, and since then, I joined Pony Creek and play lead guitar with them. And
I think the first time, I might have been after, I don't know if I met you at his wedding, but we did a show together, acoustically.
Yes.
Down, what was the name of that place?
Oh, gosh, it was in Glenwood.
Yeah, was it like the Ice?
Iron something? Maybe?
Gridiron? Gridiron Garage.
Something like that,
Something like that, yeah.
I want to say
that was guitar.
Yeah, I want to say that was after, maybe. But
maybe it was.
Because I think we talked music, and I got to know you because we talked some music.
Right, yeah.
Of course, as musicians and songwriters do.
It's the only thing I can talk about.
So, yeah. Well, and another good thing since then that's happened is Ryan and Amber remain happily married still, and I like to think that we have a large part to do with that. Yeah,
that's the only reason we brought. The only reason.
They would have tanked.
Oh my God! If it wasn't for our emotion the day of their wedding, be in the can.
Well, I'm just going to start off. What makes a good song to you, in your opinion?
Jesus, that's what you're going to start with?
I know. We started with wedding talk and stuff.
Okay.
I mean, your opinion. So there's no wrong answer.
God,
whether it's one you write or somebody else's, I imagine they both kind of feel the same about whether it's somebody else's or your own.
I think that the biggest thing when you're writing a song is that to evoke an emotion in somebody else. Yep. There's a lot of songs that I've written and this is, it's crazy, and I've talked about this in interviews before, but I haven't been in any sort of relationship in over a decade. So all the shit that I'm writing about is not, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm like George Clooney without the wealth. But when I'm writing these heartbreak songs, it's not exactly what I've gone through.
Yeah.
It's what I see in other people.
Yeah.
Observing. Friends that have talked about shit that they went through in their relationships, and because I think that love songs are the best songs you could write.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're losing somebody, the shitty part of relationships is the best stuff that, my favorite songs.
The best material.
Yeah. It's because, everybody's been broken up with. Some people have been, cheated on. Some people have had, been left on their wedding day.
Yeah.
There's all these terrible things that people have went through. So if you can bring that tiny little emotion into it, I think that is a beautiful thing whenever you can connect with someone that you've never met before. And going to shows and like having people talk about songs that I've written and written with the band, and them relating to it like, oh man, I've went through this exact same thing, and like stuff like especially like the song that I wrote about my brother that passed away. You know, when someone sends me a message and says, "Can we play this song at my loved one's funeral?" I'm like, that's the biggest compliment you could ever give me. Is something that I went through a painful thing, and you're using this on your like saddest day. Like there's no other award or accomplishment that I could ever get that'll top having something that I wrote played on someone's saddest day of their life. So I guess to get back to your question, I guess it's like a good song is just any kind of song, even if it's happy, as long as it evokes something in someone else. That's all that matters, really. Even if it's a really shitty song. I mean, it's going to relate to somebody. They may be a shitty person, but they just still deserve music too, right? Yeah. So, and like, I mean, I'm a huge fan of like 60s soul music. Like Sam Cooke's my favorite artist of all time. And like that kind of music, the way that they wrote those songs at that time, it was more like about love and like I can't live without you, and it's so powerful and passionate, but it's so simple at the same time. Like that, I think, is like the golden era of songwriting. Is like all those people like on Motown, the way that they could craft these songs. I mean, it's so like simple, but it's like the most powerful songs, and that I think is like the pinnacle of songwriting.
Well, yeah, and those are the ones that tug at you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the raw emotion, all of it. Like the message, the music, all of it.
Like, you honestly get this, like the question all the time of like, what do you think is like the most perfectly written song? Which, like you said, I mean, it's all opinion. But like These Arms of Mine is, I think, like the most perfectly written song of all time.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That or like Bring It On Home to Me. Like that Sam Cooke song, like, oh my God, like just, it's so simple and it's so like, so passionate. Like that's what everybody should strive to do. And I'm sitting here writing stupid country songs.
Hey, I think an important element in a song too, at least for me, is it's got to be believable.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
I mean, you know, if you get the cookie cutter crap, you know, and you're not buying into it, then you're already emotionally detached and lucky if you're going to listen to anymore. So yeah, I mean,
but yeah, the believability thing is, God, that has to be like 1A and 1B, like, because like I could see someone who doesn't have the best voice and is not a good guitar player, kind of describing myself.
No, come on now.
But I could see.
You have a great voice and you're a good guitar player. You do.
No.
Seriously.
You look
nice.
Go ahead. No, it's like if I could see someone who's not that great of a musician, but they're so into what they're doing. I would take that 100 times over as someone who has just an unreal voice, unreal player, but I don't believe what they're singing. So especially, obviously, when you're like, if they're a singer-songwriter, it's all about the believability and like the authenticness of their songs.
You can't hide behind. Behind it.
That's the biggest thing with, you know, like big artists. When they get so big, you're like, come on, man. Like, is your heart really broken? Like, you have 17 Denali's. How hard, I mean, you live on 3,000 acres. Like, how hard? But then again, I can't judge. I mean, people go through struggles all the time, so I guess.
And maybe they have mental illness. You know, everybody has mental illness. I mean,
everybody does.
I mean, not saying everybody has it, but everybody, no matter what your walk of life is, you're going to be dealing with some hardship. And some people handle it better than others.
And some people can't handle it at all. And I guess that's pretty bad for me to judge rich people. But hey, I'm sure that
they're judging you.
Exactly. Don't judge me, man. Just a poor kid from a farm in Iowa. Leave me alone.
So when did you know music was it for you? I mean, is that something you've always wanted to do since you're a kid, or?
Yeah, like since I was just like talking about this the other day. I still remember like I was in second grade and we had like to draw what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I drew this picture of like this guy like in a leather jacket with like purple hair and like singing in this microphone, and like I just wrote like rock star.
Yeah.
Everybody else is like firemen and policemen, and lawyer, and all that stuff, and I'm like, Mine was like fluorescent pink and purple and all this stuff. And I remember like being really little, and my parents would like watch MASH. Remember the show?
Oh yeah. I watch that all the time.
And that song "Suicide Is Painless," like the opening song.
Yeah.
I would sit there and like I would make up lyrics to it, like my own songs.
Oh, yeah?
Like at the opening and closing credits. And I remember one day that I was like, I don't know if it was like someone told me at school, like a teacher was like, you don't want to be a musician. Those guys are broke and they're awful and you should never do that. And I went home.
What a jerk.
I know. And I went home and we were watching MASH, and I was like, I made up a song, like on the spot, like freestyled it.
Yeah.
And I was like 7 maybe. And I remember going to my mom, I could still see it clear as day. And I was like, Mom, if I can make up words to songs when I first hear them, does that mean I'm going to be a musician? She's like, yeah, that's what you're going to be.
Really?
And I was like, oh shit, I'm going to be broke. And I remember being 7 saying it to my mom, like, oh no, I don't want to be a musician.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. And then like, it was like, my mom was the organist in our church, and she would never like ever like claim to be great, but like, she's one of those people like you can put down music. And this is probably somewhere I got some of my procrastination from, is like, we'd show up on Sunday for church, like 15 minutes before church starts, and she would like look up, what are the hymns? And like, she would just look them up, put them on, and she'd be like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
I can just read through it without never playing it.
Yeah.
So, and we were talking about earlier about like guitar lessons. So she put me in piano lessons, and I was like, oh my God, I just want to like play football and basketball, and I don't want to do this shit. And every day, like every week you would have your lesson, and then here's what you got to work on for next week. And I would procrastinate until like an hour before we had to leave and be like, Mom, can you show me how to do this? And she would, of course, it's so easy. She would like, so I really wasn't learning. I was learning from my mom more than my teacher, because like she would play it and I would listen to it. So when I go to the lessons, my teacher would be like, look up here. And I'm like, no, I'm looking down here, because I could play it by ear.
Exactly.
But I took piano lessons for like, I think 7 years, and it got to be when I was like 14, and my mom was like, because I was starting to go to like basketball camps in the summertime and stuff like that, and she's like, you can quit now if you want to, but she's like, it'll be the biggest regret of your life. Yeah. And I was like, what do you know? I'm 14. I know everything in the world. And then like, I remember when I turned 18 and I wanted to buy a guitar, and I was sitting there and I was like, God damn, she was right. I wish I would have still took piano. I wish I would have taken it all the way through high school and learned a ton more. I mean, I still played a lot, but it's all by ear now. But it's like ever since I was a little kid, I was just always, something had to do with music. I remember like my parents had like the old hi-fi systems, you know, with like the tall, like with the record player on top.
Yeah, for sure.
And I remember sitting with these giant old like headphones and listening to like Elvis records and CCR and Ray Charles and stuff like that. I'm like, just obsessed with it. And then like from like 18 to 24, I was more interested in chasing women and going to bars and doing stupid shit with my friends. So it kind of took a back seat to it. And I didn't play guitar or play piano for like four years. Didn't even think about music. And then I kind of like just got the itch again and got back into it. And then ever since then, I've just been playing and playing and playing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
But you realize girls and music and
So,
partying, they go together so well.
Yeah, like that's another story. Is like I remember that all I wanted to do was like play basketball and go to college and play basketball, and then I got in a little trouble, which we won't talk about.
Yeah.
Innocent trouble. No one was harmed in it.
Be on another episode.
Just some beers by some kids, and that was about it. And then I remember, like I was telling you earlier, like I remember being, I think it was like 18. I was at like my friend Josh Powell's house. Amazing artist, designs all our albums. Shout out to Josh. And he had this Fender Squier Stratocaster, and there was people at his house. And I remember sitting there, and I was like looking at like, and that's a G chord. And then I saw these girls look at me and like, and I just sit there and strum this G chord. What do you guys want to hear? What do you guys want to hear?
It's got to be a G.
Anything that's a G. And I was like, okay, well now I got an idea of girls dig guys who play music.
Yeah.
And I haven't looked back. Several terrible relationships and being single for 10 years. Awesome.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
So what do you got going on now? Well, first of all, before I forget, you just got done with a tour over in the UK
Yeah.
for a couple weeks leading
Yeah.
up to Thanksgiving. So
Yeah.
share some highlights about that.
Yeah, so I've been like so lucky. Like over a decade ago, I opened this show from this guy Jeremy McComb, and after the show, we were hanging out. I'd never met him before. We were having a couple drinks, and like we should be friends. We get along really well, and we exchanged numbers. And over this time, he's became like my closest friend. Like I go out on the road with him all the time. We co-wrote half of his last album when we were over in Sweden. We went over and he took me over where we'd play this festival in Sweden.
Cool.
And just started to like really crack into like this European market because there's not, I mean, they know like Luke Combs and like these giant artists.
Yeah,
but,
huge
like,
names.
But they're like scene for like country Americana is so small. So we went over to Sweden, did that. It was amazing. And then we were booked to go back and play this festival. And then there was COVID. So everything got canceled for 2 years. So this May, I went over there to do some shows to England for the first time, never been there before, to go to this Buckles and Boots festival. So it's this country festival out on this gorgeous farm like outside of Manchester. And like, I was like, holy shit, man, these people
Good stuff.
love country music and Americana music. And they are just I mean, I love everybody that comes to shows here, but these people are like obsessed with it. And it's so cool. And it's like amazing. So we did a little run of shows in May. And then when we got back, these amazing people who put on these festivals over there said, we do this thing, this tiny little festival indoors at the Half Moon Putney, where like Elvis Costello was like the resident musician there. Like The Who played there. Like,
holy crap.
Just insane people. And they're like, we want you and Jeremy to come back and play this thing. It's called Country in the Afternoon. So we're like, shit, we've just got back from over there, but why not? So we booked that. And then one of the guys we met over there, who kind of started it all, was his name's Gary Quinn. He's this incredible singer-songwriter from Northern Ireland. So we booked this tour, and we did like 9 shows in 10 days. And like, touring the U.S. is pretty easy. We have like interstates and shit.
Yeah.
Not so much over there. There's a lot of country roads where like,
very narrow.
just like one car. Like, what are we gonna do to meet somebody? And they're like, fuck the pricks. They're fine. Fuck them. I'm like, oh, okay. But it's like the very first show, we played at this place called The Mill, and it's like this old cotton mill from like the 1800s. Like, through like the venue floor is still like this crease where they used to roll the wheel to spin like the cotton and stuff.
Really?
It's insane how old. It's older than America. It's like it was built in the 1700s.
Wow.
So we get up there and we start playing, and the last time when we were there in May, I think that we sold like 8 tickets, and just this last time it was sold out.
Wow.
Packed. And then
Crazy.
and then we get to like our songs, and like that single we put out this year, "Take Me Away."
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
great.
like, woo,
Great song.
woo-hoo.
Yeah.
Thank you. We get to that part, and like the whole fucking crowd is singing "Woohoo!"
Oh my gosh, that's awesome,
And I'm
dude.
like, holy shit, how do you guys know that song? And it was just phenomenal. I'm like, wow, if this is like how this tour is going to be, it's going to be amazing. So then the very next night was like the bucket list of all bucket list shows. Like, we got asked to play at the British Country Music Awards, being from Iowa. And we did a writer's round, and it was at the Cavern Club.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a bucket list was to go just see it.
Yeah.
But then again, we sit down to do like our sound check. And McCartney played there in '99 again. And I'm sitting in my chair, like to my guitar, and I like look up, and there's a clock up here. And then it's Paul McCartney's set list from whenever he played there.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like reading like Hey Jude, like all these songs, and I'm like, and I look down and there's like an X in front of my feet, and I'm like, I'm just right where fucking Paul McCartney was. How did I trick people into letting me do this? So
Wow,
yeah,
that's crazy. Now that's
I mean, it was like that, and then like the Half Moon Putney, like standing there where like the Who were, like that's where they like had drinks, and like Elvis Costello was there like every single day, and it's like, it was I'm still trying to like process the whole thing.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
every single show, everybody was singing "Take Me Away." Like every show, I'm like, I get to the chorus and you hear people just going woohoo, and I'm like, it's just like people here don't do it. And like this is like my second time being in England, and it was just unbelievable. Like the support over there from these English people, and like they went out of their way to help me and Jeremy. Like we met this really nice couple at the festival in May, Jeff and Nikki, and they were like, hey, come stay with us if you need to. And like, we played a show in Birmingham, and nothing against the people there, but it can get a little sketchy if you get outside of the downtown.
Okay.
And I don't want to get in a knife fight. So we're like, what are we gonna do? So we texted Jeff, and he's like, and they were in Gloucester. Sorry, I messed it up. He's like, take the early train, come down, come hang out with us. We got to go, like, took us around the town. I saw, like, which I had no idea even existed, is like the grave of the guy they wrote Ebenezer, like the person that Ebenezer Scrooge is based on. He's like in their fucking city center.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we go to this cathedral, and I'm like, see the, like where King Charles or King Edward II's body's there. I'm like, this is like your everyday life.
Yeah, this is like normal to them.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, we just kind of walk past this stuff. But so then so we played in Stroud that night. We were supposed to play in Birmingham or in Blackpool the next day, and the train workers go on strike. So we're like, holy shit. So this nice couple, this Danny that we met through them, he's like, I'll drive you up there. It was 4 hours. Drove us 4 hours up there, then 3 hours back to his house that night. So like
Holy
7 hours on the
crap.
road. Like just how supportive these people are over there is unbelievable. And it's so cool that it's like, it feels like you're just starting. Like, cause like you're just breaking over there. Like nobody really knows you. Yeah. And all the stupid shit and stupid mistakes I did with my career in the States for the last 15 years.
They're behind you.
Yeah, that's what me and Jeremy are like, dude, this is like starting over, and we cannot do the stupid shit that we did on like over here.
Yeah.
So like we're already ready. I can't announce it yet, but we'll be back in May and June of next year.
Very
to
cool.
do another run, some festivals and stuff. But anybody that's like thinking of, if you're like an American country and Americana artist, if you're thinking about wanting to like play in Europe, go to England, go to Manchester, Gloucester, Walsden, like all these cities that we toured. They will fucking love you and support you. Like
Very cool.
it's
Take this advice, people.
yes, it's so refreshing too, because, and the really cool thing is that a lot of the shows we played over there were with a bunch of these female artists, and these women are absolutely incredible. Like their songs are so good, their voices are so good, like it's insane. And the
Pristine.
yes, and they're just the most awesome part about it is like they all come together and they all lift each other up. Like they're all at each other's shows. They're posting about each other on social media. Like whereas here, people like seem like I want to pull down the person ahead of me so I can take that spot. Like they're constantly trying to pull someone down to take, but they know it's like the rising tide, you know? Like they just want everybody to win over there. And it's just, it's beautiful and it's refreshing and it's so awesome, and I can't wait
It sounds like a utopia.
It really is. I mean, for this kind of music, for like Americana country music, oh my God, I would tour over there 4 times a year.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Cool.
Couldn't be happier.
What do you guys got going on in the States? Anything coming up? New music? Anything?
We got a show with you.
I know, we do have that, don't
Yeah,
we?
December 23rd at Maloney's, where it all started.
Yeah?
Well, I think that is where, I guess outside the Ranch Bowl is where like I played my first show.
Really?
But yeah, with my old metal band Felt. God, years and years ago. This is how long ago it was. I didn't have a guitar amp. You think I'm a bad guitar player now. You don't think it'd be 15 years ago. I was awful. I knew 4 chords. Well, actually, I still probably know 4 chords. But we had this little metal band, and I didn't have an amp. I had like a little Gorilla amp.
Yeah.
I couldn't play that
Yeah.
at the Ranch Bowl. So it was our first show, and I went to Rainbow to rent an amp from him. And I think it was Al or Nils, whoever was working the desk. And he's like, hey, it's your first show. This is a special amp. It's a Fender Twin that 311 used to record Unity here.
Wow.
And I'm like, cool, man. Go to the show, get through like 2 songs, the amp starts smoking. Like the fucking amp caught on fire.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh shit, I just ruined this like relic amp that they want to keep there. Yeah.
So what happened out of that?
They didn't do anything. They're like, oh man, sorry, like apologize for it.
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just destroyed your amp. But yeah, that was like our first show ever. But after that, that's when it was Mike's place, and we used to play there all the time with our little punk band, Mr. Important.
Yeah.
So like, it feels like that's when I really started playing, because that's when I was like the front man of the band.
Yeah.
And that is like, it's like a homecoming of like, we started here and we went all the way around here to come back to here to the same spot. And Wendy's so awesome. I love that girl. And like for her to be the owner of that place again, she went from being the bartender there to owning the place, and I couldn't be happier for her. Now she's bringing music back to Council Bluffs.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's
That's
so
great.
awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, and I live like 2 minutes from there.
That's
so
perfect.
It's perfect. So like anytime you can walk down to shows and enjoy myself and get home safely.
Exactly.
But yeah, so that's the only thing that is with the full band that's booked right now. And then I do this end of the year Christmas tour with Jeremy and then Rick Huckabee, where we've been doing it for like the last 7 years.
Yeah.
And it's the places that you shouldn't play at that time of the year. So we go play Wisconsin for 3 days. And then we do New Year's Eve in Minnesota, in Glenwood, Minnesota.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, where it's like the average temperature of New Year's Eve there is -40. So it's, I don't know why we do it, but we've been doing it. But it's so much fun. Like, another great spot for musicians is this, it's a little gem in Wisconsin, in Clinton, Wisconsin. It's called Boxcars.
Okay.
It's this little listening room. And it's like the owner, Pogo, gets on the mic before you introduce you, and he's like, hey, this is so-and-so. They're from there, it's wherever they're from. If you want to talk on your phone, you can go in the other bar. If you want to talk to your friends, you can go in the other bar. If you're in here, you're going to shut your fucking mouth and listen to the music.
Yeah.
And like on the microphone, everybody's like, you can hear a pin drop in that place. It is by far my favorite place anywhere to play music. And we do 3 shows there at the end of the year. But I'll go out and do it by myself, and it sells out, and it's awesome. People they're so supportive and so into the music, and it's so awesome finding spots like that, because they're hard to find.
Exactly.
People that want to go to a show for the music, not for like
appreciate it. Yeah.
not for the social aspect of it, which that's fine too. I mean, those people buy tickets too. They want to come out and have a great time. Awesome. But like for acoustic shows, to do a place like that where it's a real listening room, it's unbelievable. And this is how cool that he's curated that place. Is like, he has like Jeffrey Steele come up there and play. Jeffrey Steele wrote like every Rascal Flatts song. I mean, I think he has 50 number ones.
Wow.
And like, the dude doesn't even have to get out of bed. Like, he doesn't have to leave his house, but he drives up to Wisconsin to play this room. That's how special it is. Like, Travis Meadows comes up there. Travis Meadows has written hits for everybody. Comes up there and plays. Like, it's just a really, really, truly special place, and I wish we could find a lot more places like that. Yeah. But yeah, that's like the end of the year, and then I don't know. We're figuring out next year.
Yeah.
We have a few more songs left that we recorded, because I didn't know how to put these albums out, because who knows what's fucking going on these days. So we started out like just putting out singles, and the singles did really well. And then it's like, do we put out the rest of the album as one? Do we put out singles some more? Do we go record like another 5 songs and put out 10 songs? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I wanted.
I like the single rap.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's like, with people today, like they just want everything now. I think that some songs might get lost if you released a whole album.
Yeah. People's attention spans get shorter and shorter and shorter.
Right.
They can handle a song.
Yeah.
You give them an album, I don't got time for a whole album.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like every 3 months or 2.5 months, release another single. Because I really, really like the songs, and I'm really proud of what we all came together. And I mean, I don't think outside of me, no one had been to Nashville before. We went down as a band in the van, went to the studio and stayed at a really shitty hotel where a guy like the FBI had like a standoff the day before, like ate at Waffle House every night. I mean, it was like a legit like shitty band trip to Nashville to make an album. We recorded at this awesome like Soul Train Sound Studios. Like, I mean, everybody recorded there from like Johnny Cash and like fucking Crosby, Stills and Nash and like, I mean,
very cool,
unbelievable. With our buddy Nick Gibbons, and like he just produced Marty Stewart's new album.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Yeah, and
holy crap,
he did our album, and he's one of my good buddies, and like we did like it was an amazing experience. So I want to like let each one of these songs really shine for themselves, even if nobody listens to them. I just wanted to give them each song their time of day, you know, instead of just putting them all out at once.
That's a great idea.
We'll see. Cool. Yeah, but yeah, so we have I think four more songs to release next year, and we want to cut another 5 songs. So
nice.
when we find time for everybody can do it.
Sounds good. Well, if there's anything else you want to talk about, go ahead. Or otherwise, we'll play a song.
I want to talk to you.
What do you want to talk to me about?
I'm here for you if you need anything.
Do I need to lay back?
Yeah. Put your head in my lap.
It's going to be
only going to take a second.
It's going to be like sports clips.
Exactly.
The hot towel and everything.
Exactly. No, man. I just want to thank you for having me. This is fun.
Hey, buddy, of course, man. Yeah, well, we'll definitely have to do it again.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'll see you, if not sooner, December 23rd.
Yes, for sure.
At Maloney's.
And what song are we going to play?
Oh, so this song, it's a funny story, is like, this is a song I just recently wrote. It was one of those like Sunday nights where there's this wine that you can get at Hy-Vee called Cutler Creek.
Cutler Creek, all right. I'll remember that.
You get a Cabernet, and it's you get 4 bottles for $12.
I'll definitely remember that.
So one night I was sitting there on the 4th bottle, and I was listening to the Silk Sonic album. Did you ever listen to Silk Sonic? It's like
no.
Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. They made this.
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. It's like a 70s soul, like fucking extravaganza.
Oh, it sounds like that.
Oh my God, it's so good. So I was drinking, I was listening to that, and I was like, just playing my guitar, and I'm like, I wonder what it'd be like if Bruno Mars wrote a song with Hank Williams Jr. Like Hank Williams Jr. and Bruno Mars. So I was like, fuck it. So I just wrote it that night, like in 5 minutes. It's so ridiculous, but I was like, anytime I could put a reference to Smokey and the Bandit in the song,
yeah,
great day. So I went over and I played it when we were in the UK, and it's by far the song I get the most messages about. And I've only played it live. This is the first recording ever of this song.
All right, a first here, Bandwagon.
And I get these messages, and all it says is like, when are you releasing the Polar Bear Paws song? So that's one of the lyrics in it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even have a title for it.
Oh, well, cool.
So yeah. So
we'll work that out and let us know.
And you've never heard it before, but you're gonna play it.
Yeah. Hey.
You're gonna do great.
Keep me on my toes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here.
All right, buddy. Good to see you.
Pleasure, brother.
Take care.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. 6 foot tall, about $105. Long blonde hair, you couldn't tell that it's dyed. Look like she ain't never been told, like a polar bear paw. She's ice cold, so come on, come out, come in. She got a 2-button strut in a denim shirt, legs so long she doesn't have to work. Like Sally Field in a black Trans Am. When the lights go down, I'm the bandit. Now come on, come out, and come in. I've been waiting all night for your fine ass to walk in. So come on, come out, and come in. Oh yeah. Your heart and tell you to leave broken out on the street. But those 5 minutes sent me to the moon. If you'd have seen her, you'd have done it too. So come on, come out, on.